Spurs 1, Wolves 2. Now, the way that Spurs play, we expected goals. We probably also expected Spurs to mount a comeback and maybe even win the game, if not tie the game. But you watched this game and Wolves, it wasn't quite a smash and grab, but it was the perfect counter-attacking performance, was it not?
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, no question. Spurs were forcing the game. That's the way Postecoglou wants them to play, and that's the way they go about it. But in Wolves, you had the perfect performance defensively, and as you said, on the counter-attack. I mean, particularly in the second half, every time that Wolves counter-attacked, they looked as though they were going to score. I mean, Nicol was absolutely fantastic. Sarabia had a couple of great chances. Vicario's made 2 or 3 good saves. Probably a couple of them he shouldn't have had the opportunity. They should have been putting in the back of the net. So going forward on the break, I mean, Wolves were pretty sensational. And really, 2 goals doesn't tell the story. It could have been 5. Maybe should have been 5. But of course, on the other side, they defended well. You know, Dawson and Kilman in particular just headed balls clear, got in the way of shots. I mean, the goalkeeper didn't have that many real saves to make. Yes, he made some saves, but they were saves that you expect him to make. A lot of pressure from Spurs, but they just didn't create real open goal-scoring chances. And as I've already said, Wolves on the break were just absolutely breathtaking, particularly Neto. And it seems there's no way this guy's going to be at Wolves next season. You know, Wolves take bids for players, they move players on, and Neto, for me, seems to be the next one in line.
Yeah, he's a star. As far as Postecoglou is concerned, he had his first choice front 4. Okay, Richarlison led the line today, Son on the left-hand side, Maddison in the middle, and Kulusevski on the right-hand side. Why didn't it work for Spurs today going forward?
Well, I think they weren't as clinical and as sharp as they would like. But I think you've also got to look at Wolves defensively. Always had a body in the way. Always closed the ball in and around the box. I mean, they never gave Spurs an awful lot of time and space, and there wasn't a lot because they were generally sitting on top of the box. I mean, tough for Spurs to get in behind. Tough to play little 1-2s because there's just no space. And as I said, allied to some really good defending. And Spurs, you could say not quite at the sharpest going forward. Then you get what you get today. And I mean, the real story of the game is Wolves on the counter. I mean, they were absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, if you're Ange, I don't really think there's too much to say other than, you know what, and on another day, with the amount of possession and the amount of time they spent in the final third, you know, they will beat a lot of teams. They just came up against a Wolves side that defensively didn't give an awful lot away and looked good counter-attacking.
I was just looking back at the last clean sheet that Spurs kept at home in the league, and I had to keep scrolling back. It was Fulham in October. Now, I know Destiny Udogie was unavailable through injury, and so was Pedro Porro. It was Emerson Royale at right back, Ben Davies at left back. And we've all really enjoyed, as a neutral, the way that Ange Postecoglou has played this season. He's been a breath of fresh air, but they need to start getting a bit tighter at the back. October for their last home clean sheet in the Premier League. That's not good enough.
I don't see it changing.
It won't.
You know, the way they play. I mean, it's interesting. You talk about Royale and Davies as the fullbacks. I mean, Davies was in the penalty box more than he was in his own penalty, in the opposition penalty box, pretty much more than he was in his own. I mean, he had an opportunity for an equaliser in the 94th minute with a header, but that kind of summed it up. You know, when your fullbacks are in and around the opposition penalty box constantly, you shouldn't be too surprised that teams are going to counter-attack and look to hurt you because they've got so much space. But it's the way that he plays the game. We said it right after. I mean, after 2 or 3 games at the start of the season, we kind of nailed it and said, Spurs are the team you want to go and see every week because it's just going to be open, attacking football. And that means that if they don't put the ball in the back of the net, they're going to be giving opportunities to the opposition, regardless of who it is. And that's exactly how it's panned out. Will Ange think about that? Well, I think he probably will, but it won't be till the off season, when he'll probably go through the season, and he'll probably come to where you were in October and say, you know what, as much as we want to play football, we got to keep some clean sheets, particularly at home. So nothing's changing between now and the end of the season. I would suggest maybe in the off season he might think about it, but don't put any money on it.